Hello and welcome. This is a little topic chat about about the nature of fandom. Um, and My name is Falco, Captain the, and this is please introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. I am SonLee. I just hang around Discord with Falco and a few other friends of ours. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that's basically all I do.
Yeah, it's fun. Always interested to talk. I just need a conversational person in order to get to bounce ideas off of.
Hmm.
That's all you're here for. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh no, he accepts his punishments. But like, so the whole idea of I had this idea to talk about um, the whole idea of fandom and like the gatekeeping of fandom. That whole idea of like ever since like I don't know, this came into my head after Rings of Power or whatever when it came out. I'm like, man, because all these people attack fandoms and all that stuff, and I'm like, is that so? When is that appropriate? When is it? When is that like the idea of it? Like when do we gatekeep these things? When do we not allow people in? What is a fandom at its core? Sort of these
Hmm.
ideas,
Yep. Hmm.
and so I think we should go straight into it because because the last recording was damaged, so that's why we're doing it again. So like,
Yeah.
so like, oh no. So that's why we're kind of like, yeah, we're fast tracking this. All right. So I'm gonna switch over and make sure that things are happening. All right. It seemed the desktop audio was still good. So all right. Um. So the first question is, what is a fandom? Um. What? So. Uh. A because it's always good to define your terms going forward
Hmm.
as a sort of and if everyone says that's kind of dumb to do, it's like everyone knows what a fandom is. It's like, yeah, but just to make sure that like we don't muddy the water, mud like later on, or like strawman position. Fandoms have been going on for a long time, like ever since like the idea of being in a group and being around a similar interest. Uh, but then like in more modern terms, a fandom is definitely pushed more the sort of online discourse side of of like um of varying interests. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it's
mm,
pushed more towards like nerd culture.
yes, especially like if you like, and there's also different variations of those fandoms. Like for example, if you're a Star Wars fan, there's like, what do you mean by that? Are you a prequel fan? Do you like the prequels, or did you like the OT, or do you just like the sequels, or like do you like the Disney stuff? Like, what about the comic books? What about the
Hmm.
EU? It's like the extended universe. I mean, it's like same thing goes for Marvel. It's like, what do you mean by that? You mean the MCU? You mean the comics? Do you mean the other comics, or do you mean the cartoons? Like what? Just Spider Man? Like, huh? It's like because like there's a bunch of niches even within the fandoms themselves, and so like and it doesn't mean just about nerd culture. It can be having to like novels, sports, hobbies and interests like card games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
versus like adaptation of like the animes itself, or like there could be like TV shows like Friends or something like that. Yeah, those have fandoms too.
Yeah. Fandom was like a group of people who with a giant blanket of like uh
Quilt
the
making
different
club, yeah.
yeah different mediums,
Hmm.
they all come like can gather around the same under the same roof and like in the same building.
In the same building or the same Discord server.
Yeah.
It's like and there's always a place for arguments and disagreements or like nerd arguments, and stuff like that. Like Not all of it is toxic,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Hmm. Some people are civil,
Some people are civil more than others,
Yeah.
but so I think it's very good to sort of have that sort of idea. It's like, okay, we have this sort of definition, so we don't backtrack on it a little bit. Um, but then it's like, what does it mean to be a fan? Is the next question.
Ooh,
Um,
that's an interesting question because for me, what it means to be a fan is someone who I guess looks forward to what um is happening and what the potential what could happen in the future of your hobby or something because like years ago I guess I would have considered myself like a Marvel fan. I
mhm,
enjoyed the movies. I looked forward to what was the next Marvel thing, but nowadays I don't really consider myself that like much of a fan because even if I do watch the next Marvel movie, whatever it may be, I'm not looking forward. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not
mhm.
excited about what's gonna happen next.
Um, so sorry, my fan's in the background if you can hear it.
I know
Um,
I don't hear a thing.
okay, because like my mic is picking up sound. It's like, no, stop it. But then like um yeah what it means to be a fan is to just like of course you got to have an interest in it from its
Yeah,
basic forms and like you got to be an interest enough that like you follow it to a certain degree. Like
exactly. Yeah.
that can be broad though as well because there are such a thing as like hardcore fans, casual fans, passionate fans, like, and there's also toxic fans. Like there's all kinds of variations of that sort of thing. Because I'm not really a big fan of anything because like everything has been so disappointing lately. So
Hmm.
it's like, man, I'm glad I don't have this like pure attachment to being consumer. Like because I can just let it go. Because there's many things in my life that I'm just or that I'm just around that like I can just do and talk about. Because like sometimes being a fan means like once being a fan and it's disappointing you, that you can do is to lay all your grievances at certain things. Because without without love there is no hate. As like it's sort of like God of War Ragnarok or whatever. It's like to fully love means to fully mourn.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about fandom. Like without the love there is no hate.
Yeah.
Like so it's like so it's sort of like that. And like I understand where people are coming from, but like I don't have that attachment myself to like anything really. I can sort of, it's kind of funny, I'm more logical in that way. Like I'm not trying to attach myself to anything that much that is fleeting. But like I understand it from a fan's point of view.
Yeah, yeah. I would probably fully agree. I don't really attach myself to that many things either.
Mm. Let's see. So, um, uh, yeah, I think we answered that one. So, oh yeah, the next question is there such thing as a true fan? Um,
Hmm. Hmm. Um.
Interesting question.
Yeah, that is an interesting question.
Because I think there is.
Okay.
Um,
What do you think?
um, what I mean by true fan is like there are because there is such a thing as like a passionate fan, and they're like saying like unless you have my level of you know interest, then you're not really a fan.
Yeah.
It's like I think there's a difference between like a casual fan and someone who is like like a sort of, they call themselves a very passionate fan, so therefore a true fan. They sort of have that ownership of that stuff. But I know how that sounds, right? To a it's kind of like when I saw that video of like people who were like they want to gatekeep the aspects of being a fan, sort of like how like a as a sports fan you have to go to all the games in order to be a true fan. It's like, no, you don't.
Hmm.
That's not true. Like, you can't afford it. You're just like the team because, and therefore you go to a couple of games maybe, and it's like, but you have it at home, and like maybe like there are different things, and there's a guy out there who's like, it doesn't matter if he's losing money, he's still gonna go. Like that's I think that's sort of a toxic relationship with it, but he's still, they're both fans, but just because one has more passion, therefore more true of a fan, like, nah, that doesn't really ring true for me.
Yeah, I think for me the phrase "a true fan" just has a bit of a negative connotation to it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It has a
So I like,
stigma. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of avoid using it any like
You're
at
not a
all.
real fan.
Exactly, yeah, true fan, real fan. The I guess being like tippy top of the fandom. I
Mm-hmm.
just avoid those.
Avoid those
Uh,
labels.
yeah, exactly.
But I think there is such a thing as a fake fan.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Because when I say true fan, what I mean is like you have enough interest in it to know details. Like there are people who want to come in and change its core aspects, and like that is a part of the gatekeeping that I think is very good, to sort of test like their sort of, not necessarily to test their value as a fan, sort of like to be like to change its core for a negative aspect, because like there are changes to the core of a fandom that could be better, and like,
Hmm.
but that's where you have to make sure that they have the best interests for the fandom at heart, you know, for like companies, or like if you um sort of like sort of like there's a sports fan who's like, he wants against the sport, but instead they this person would sort of be like, wants to talk about everything but the sport, but they still want to, like, they sort of like, but they go to a game sometimes, but it's like they never want to talk about the sport itself. It's like, are you sure you're a fan, or are you just saying the platitudes?
Yeah.
Like are you just like, because it's all about the politics of it instead of the sport itself. It's like, something's not right here. Or like there are certain fans that like, that call themselves true fans, but are not. Like, no, you're kind of, you're more of like an invader instead of you're a usurper. You're not exactly here for the pure reasons of the core of what that fandom is.
Yeah, you're here for yourself, not what the group of the people, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
the fandom.
Um, and here's the thing: like, everyone has their own self interest for doing it because they want to belong to something,
Hmm.
like, sort of, and that can be, that's not necessarily a negative thing,
Oh no, no.
because like we all want to, because like the concept of no man is an island. We all want to like but we all want to connect with human beings. We are social animals, so it's like, I completely understand that, but to have such a narcissistic quality about yourself that like you just want to latch yourself onto something, like no matter what it is, and then you make it all about that, like, nah, you're kind of like, you're the problem, and the rest of the people are not, you
Yeah,
know. So it's like there is such a thing as a fan and a non-fan, I think.
yeah. I'll probably agree that a definition of a true fan is probably someone who knows like the
Hmm.
um like subject, like the a whole fandom, I guess, in and out. Like you ask them a question about something, they would know it instantly.
Sort of,
And
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
that those kinds
mhm.
of people.
like, and even casual fans are fans. That's what I
Hmm.
mean.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they have a passing interest in it. Like, if someone talks to me about, I'm not a Fallout fan, but I understand why people have an interest in it, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to listen. So, am I a casual fan now, or am I just like, I don't know? So it's like, but there's something about it that makes it interesting, or like, so it's very that's why I'm mostly a casual fan about some stuff, But even I have my passions, like, of course, because like there are
Hmm.
some film franchises that like are masterworks, like Lord of the Rings or like The Exorcist, and I'm like, they ruin those, and I'm very angry about it. I have a passion for these things where it's you know
Yeah, yeah.
we'll talk about
Totally
how
agree.
people respond to that. In fact, how you respond is also very important because
Yes.
as a fan. So, anywho, like, I forgot about these questions, so let's I'll go to the next one, the fourth question, which is, can anyone be a fan? The idea of gatekeeping. We kind of
uh
we we,
I
we kind of went over this a little bit, but still,
Yeah. I think phrasing the question, yes, anybody can be a fan.
hmm
That doesn't mean that anybody should be a fan, I guess you could say.
yeah. The idea of gatekeeping is that there is such a thing as negative and positive gatekeeping. Like,
Yes.
anyone could be a fan, but in order to be a fan, you have to be an actual fan of what you're going into. Um,
Hmm.
like, it's kind of cringe, but like, if you're going to be a My Little Pony fan, you have to like My Little Pony. Like, I know that's kind of on its face statement is, well, duh, but there are people who want to be fans of something in order to change its core aspects to be for them. They want to project their feelings onto the thing they want to get into, and that's not good.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Um, I have a question. I don't know
mhm.
if it's in one of your notes, but like,
Okay.
what do you think is the basic thing to do to be a fan of something?
Have an interest in it. This sort of idea of like have a casual interest in it, probably
Okay.
because like I I'm not a sports fan, but like but of course I live in an area where college sports is very prominent.
Hmm.
So it's like we have three teams, which is like I can tell you like the Hoosiers, the Kentucky Wildcats, and the Louisville Cardinals. I think, yeah, Louisville Cardinals, and they're very big around here. So it's like so you hear about it all the time, and I'll have like I don't really care about, it, so I don't have a casual interest in it, but I pick up things.
Okay.
I don't, but still, I wouldn't say I'm a sports fan though. Now, if someone was talking about movies or like any sort of movie that I'm not curious about, I have an interest in movies though, which means I have a casual interest in that movie they're talking about, but I have a huge. I'm a fan of movies though, so it's like,
Oh yeah.
so it's like, so it all works on different levels of things. It all
Yeah.
depends on what you're trying to go for. Maybe you realize that fandom's not for you. Maybe, and you have to realize that. Maybe it's like, man, and that's what the thing about negative, sort of positive gatekeeping is that it all comes down to you too, because you could be the problem. It's like maybe I don't belong here. Maybe I need to walk away. From a situation.
Hmm.
Don't take things personally when people are like, nah, this is not how this works. Like, okay, it's sort of like a D&D group where it's like sometimes you're the problem with the group, and you have to realize you need to walk away. So it's like
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that can happen to anybody.
yeah, so anyone can be a fan, but not everyone can be I guess a true fan. It's like so it's like which yeah, I mean like it may sound like the same thing, but like the whole idea of gatekeeping is very good. Because you definitely want the fandom to be what it's about, not about the people's feelings.
Yeah, you don't want like I guess what you call it, tourists to come in and just change it
Tourists,
because
yeah.
because different people have different like
It,
ideas about what a thing should be like, and if everybody like puts all like what they think
don't
into like one
colonize our
thing,
fandom.
yeah, yeah, it could drastically change what the fandom is about, you know.
um, dude, it's kind of funny because I'm not sure, but I could probably think of like not think of, but what am I saying? Like, I don't know if this ever happened, but I'm sure there's something out there that changed. That like when it got invaded by another like other people or whatever, it changed for the better.
Hmm.
But but you know, I'm not saying that for sure. But like the saying that like it should never change its core aspects, I'm like, no, I won't go that far. There's going to be a time when like you do have to change something about it
Yeah,
because it's not really wrong for like necessarily to do that. It's just that it takes a lot of there has to be some kind of proving ground for it though. Like
yeah, that's true.
you shouldn't change on a whim or anything like that, or at least a fandom at least. But like yeah, but sure. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oops. Well, there goes. Um. Ooh. When is it okay to be angry as a fan? Hmm.
Hmm. Um.
I should have put this more specifically because like
Yeah, I think the lack of um
context or something.
yeah context of this is like makes it very hard to answer.
Well, I guess what I mean is by that question is like is it man that is a difficult question to sort of quantify because I was like I was have something in my head I should have went by it with somebody but like the whole idea is like when it's okay to be angry at oh okay about someone changing your stuff. I mean, or like or like when a company invades, like is it okay to be
Um,
angry? How angry you're allowed to get? It's like
I,
you know.
I think it all depends on what they do with it.
Hmm.
Um, like if they change something that's like, kind of minor, it doesn't change up the, I guess you could say the lore or the core aspects of,
Hmm.
the fandom, but like,
Sure.
it's something different like that hasn't been done in your fandom before. I don't think it's like all right to get totally up in arms about it, but like
Hmm.
when it's something like big and like I guess you could say something like, let's say they put microtransactions in, I don't know, a video game that doesn't like need it,
Hmm.
or
Dead
something that
Space 3.
yeah, or like something that never happens, and like they do it
Hmm.
for, I guess, like selfish reasons.
Hmm.
I that's you can get like a little bit more up in arms about that.
Um.
So
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so getting mad at the fandom, or what do you say,
Getting
it's the
angry as a
fandom?
fan. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, getting angry, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a
As a fan.
fan,
Hmm.
it just it all depends, and
Sure.
people get angry differently, um, in different ways, I guess.
Um.
So
Hmm. How should you respond? Like, I guess I should have said like, how do we respond as fans
how how
to
do we respond?
like
Hmm.
something happening to our fandom? It's like you know, it's like, hey, you need to get out, or like, or should we pull like a heel versus baby face, or like hey, it's like it's like there's different levels of things. It doesn't matter how right you are sometimes. It's like but then it's like when push comes to shove, you definitely need to be determined
Yeah.
about what you're doing. You know.
Yeah. It's like I don't know what it's called, but like
Righteous indignation. Like,
yes. Yeah, I guess. You kind of have to like equally um go be against what is happening, I guess, because if you like overreact to something, it will look bad on your part,
on
not their part.
on your side, yeah, it looks bad
Yeah,
on the fandom.
exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
But if you underreact to it, then like nothing will happen, nothing will change.
Mhm.
So it's this little balancing, this act that you have to like really nail down, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It doesn't. It's sometimes like it doesn't matter how right you are, how you respond is,
Uh,
or the tone in which you respond can be seen as such a negative thing because like oh why you it's like it's kind of that guy. It's like saying like it's only a game. Why are you so angry? Like why are you so mad? It's like well because like people get angry. People because when they're passionate they get angry. It's like
mhm.
it happens all the time, and I don't think companies or even people with like a who only see tone as seeing that as completely toxic or negative. It's really not. Um, I listen to the words they say rather than the tone because I'm like, uh, I mean, it's a mixture of things. If someone calmly said they were going to come after your family, I'll take that as a threat.
Yeah.
I don't care how calm they are. It's like you had to and I also understand the context of what you're of what they're doing to be so angry. It's like what's all the stuff around it? Like because there's a lot of things that take things in a context, and it drives me nuts. Like it's like do you know why he said that stuff or whatever? It's like or like or it's like you get labeled as something and like that label permeates upon to like the entire fandom from like a piece of the other part of the fandom or a company or like an article and it becomes like a civil war.
No, yeah.
It's like can we talk about the issue? Like no, our side's right. It's like okay, sure. And then like because when your ideas get co-opted by the wrong people and they have a louder voice, it's really hard to get things back on track.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's very very nice to have a sort of a. It's nice to have a civil conversation, but there is also a need for passion, and it's like there's always I'm not saying you should never yell either. Like that's the thing. It's like there's a time and place for just getting angry and frustrated and airing those frustrations. Like you may look a little bit unhinged, but it's like look it's kind of funny, but like imagine there's somebody who is calm most of the time and then they get angry. Like what makes them so angry? Because like oh
Hmm.
he's being pushed, or like I don't mean he like you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah,
that that
yeah.
that that person's getting pushed to their limits. And it's like there's a time and place for that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fully 100% agree with that.
So yeah, yeah. Sorry for that difficult question, but yeah, that's like I had to reframe it live. So, anywho, how should a fandom respond to criticism from a company? Mm. And that put in parentheses toxic for some reason.
Hmm.
So it's like a um, I've it's kind of funny like when a company is like so what I think what I mean from that is like when a company does something that makes that is mostly disagreed upon, like So like how should they respond? Like this is going from the sort of anger thing. I was sort of like thinking of this. I think we sort of answered this one already, but I just want to say like maybe not from the fandom, but like from the company themselves. Like
Oh yeah.
how should they respond to a company that they are in the fandom of? You know?
Well, one, no death threats.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Like your family should drink bleach or something. Like, whoa, it's like,
yeah,
of course,
yeah,
you know, don't take personal snipes.
yeah. No,
You
no
know,
violence and like that type of things. But like,
mm,
I guess you can only respond the way that the companies, I guess, um, are able to. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna phrase this.
hmm
Like I guess you can go like if it's like a game company or you just one you can like just stop buying the products,
you
because
can, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like the one of the ways that they hurt like they can hear you the most is when less people are um like indulging in the products, I guess.
Um, one of the things I remember is that what people did when they couldn't voice their opinions
Oh yeah.
is to review bomb,
Yes.
and that's the way the public can get their way to make sure that other people don't do it because like they've either been silenced or they just don't have any other recourse of what to do because
Yeah.
really the public doesn't have that much of a voice, really, if you think about it, because who has all the power? The companies do. So it's like so they see it as like you're a multi-million-dollar company or like a or it's like it's an author that has a huge social media presence. So it's like we're gonna review bomb. And like,
hmm
is it ethical to review bomb though when you've probably never seen it or anything like that? It's like that's a different discussion.
Yeah,
But
the discussion for another day, but it's
mhm,
like it's the only thing that they because a company is not gonna look at every single a
look
comment,
at comment. Yeah,
and
every single comment.
yeah,
That's true too. But
that's true too. Like
yeah,
like every single YouTube video, every single
of course
Twitter
not.
like
Yeah.
tweet. So like the only way they can see what the people are thinking is through reviews and
Mm.
like profits, I guess.
The
Oh,
profits and like aggregate scores, like on Rotten Tomatoes or like Metacritic, Steam,
yes.
Amazon, or something like that. It's like products do get review bombed, and that's it can be. It's like it's but it can be so scummy that's the practice can be so scummy though that like you don't even need to see the product. You just have to hear the news, and it's
hmm
just one of the worst things you could ever hear of. Like silencing people on streams or whatever, or like banning someone for frivolous reasons, and they watch a YouTube video and like, well, I'm gonna go give my 2 cents. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I think the question of when, yeah, when is it ethical to do it
hmm
is a whole different discussion.
of course, yeah, and let's see, and then there's like of course not, of course, like how to, if you're going to a fandom should criticize something, you should do it with the best. I think you should do it with the best faith possible.
hmm
First, because not everything. It's kind of funny. We're talking about the big companies. What about what if it's an indie team, or what if it's a first time book or something? Like then you should be constructive, give pointers like for what's going next, or give advice, or even if you want to say like a positive comment, like you can do better because, and also I forget what the next question is, but like. But I'm gonna go over it right now. It's talk about how like how companies should respond to it.
Oh yeah.
For like you should take that. Uh, the first thing is like there's always going to be toxic people out there. You need to learn to deal with it. It's just going to happen. People are going to call you the ist or the phobes as well. Um, like, and there's going to be a massive flood of like negativity out there,
Hmm.
and it's going to trickle down into your comments or whatever. It's like when you get those threats, those death threats or whatever, or it's like don't act like it's the first time on the internet and say everyone's doing that. It's not true. When you are criticized, doesn't mean they hate you. It means that like you need to do better in these areas, or like you need to take it on the nose. Like you need to prepare. Like there needs to be a little paperclip of like, "Hi, is this your first time being on the internet?" Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember when like when extra credits manager sort of can like we have seen this struck a nerve. It's like don't respond with a snide comment or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I forget that word, but like
Yeah. Because
don't be
um.
don't be a douche. You know how you respond. Be be genuine because believe it or not, fans love a genuine response, even if it's not what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like just be honest with people because like the real fans, quote unquote, are trying to be real with you. That that you agree or
Yes.
anything
Yes.
to
I
add?
agree with that. This is about the question of how companies should respond.
Oh no! I'm just saying like how should a fandom respond to criticism from a company? I'm like also the opposite,
Ah,
where it's
yes.
like the companies need to respond like thanks for the don't just put the platitude of thanks for the feedback, we'll consider it. It's like if you're gonna say
Yeah.
something, mean it.
Yeah.
Like
I guess respond. Yeah. Honestly, if you're going to like say that you're going to deal with it later, like actually deal with it because words are
be
just
a No Man's
words.
Sky, deal with
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
or
Words are
Scott
just
Kaufman, or like
yeah. It's words kind of mean like nothing unless you're gonna take the
actions.
action.
Yeah,
Yeah, after
actions
it.
are louder than words
Hmm.
because there are people that talk both sides of their mouth. During interviews,
Yeah,
and you know
you can be like sorry all you want, but if nobody sees you try and
change. Then
change
what's
your ways, it means nothing. Your sorry means nothing.
yeah
That's what.
yeah. It's like oh man, I'm so sorry. Anyways, let me rake in my cash. Says like Bethesda. Like Bethesda never changed, and like so that's why they're being criticized.
Yeah,
Whereas like
and
you
a
may
lot of
not.
times
Oh,
when
sorry. So go
I
ahead.
was gonna say a lot of times when people are very passionate or like are loud about what they're thinking, it's usually never like the first time it happens. It's usually
Hmm.
gradually grows over,
That's true.
days, years, months, you know. So yeah.
That's true. Because like this ain't the first time, but even if it is, like yeah,
Hmm.
you should be like well we're gonna change that. And say like in patch notes because patch notes are very important when it comes to games. If people read up like we're gonna be changing this in this time period. It's
Hmm.
just that when they come out with their schedule with their live services, it's like why not work on the game instead? And instead of like it's seen as very greedy.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny we're talking about video games this whole time, but like that's our wheelhouse sort of like where people directly respond from like Twitter and stuff like that, or like Instagram or something. It's like holy crap, they care more about their. It feels like they care more about their social presence than their actual like game or company.
Yeah, and you can also do exactly the No Man's Sky thing, like go silent for a while, gather all your thoughts, and like
And
you
and
know
work on the game.
and
Yeah.
do what you have to do.
Yep.
Like you don't you don't have to be the people be like do this long those sorry notes. You know how a lot of video game companies do it, where they're like, "Oh, we knew we messed up. We're sorry." Like you don't have to do that. Just
We're sorry. Sorry. BP oil spill. Thanks. But like so the other thing is like I've seen this in sports a lot. It's like when the coach says we'll do better next year and they continue to like not do good. In fact, they're practically the same. It's like maybe we should get a new one.
Yeah,
It's like yeah,
yeah.
that happens all the time in sports. Or like because some people can't handle criticism there too, and they fall off the handle. If people who don't know who Bobby Knight is, he had anger management problems, and that's why he had to be taken off. And he realized that. So it's like there are people that take responsibility as well. It's like yeah, I'm just gonna quit. We're just gonna stop.
Hmm.
You know, it's like it's a very you have also you have to understand everybody's human here, and we're trying to interact as human beings.
Yeah.
It's like I know it's kind of like soft thing to say. It's like oh you'll be a little clown when you say that stuff or snoy. It's like no no no, like that's not what I mean. It's it's all about like we all are. It's just a base fact that we're all just human beings trying to figure out the interactions of fans versus companies, and it's relatively new to be online all the time as a company and the being the faces of companies. So it's like that used to do like in long distances. Like it used to take longer,
Hmm.
but now we can get straight feedback like right away. It's like man, times have changed so much in such a short little time that people can't keep up. So this there's also a little bit of grace period for both people. Just because you don't hear the news, the good news right away, it's like you need to like have a little patience, grace. You know,
Yeah.
as a fan, it's like it's not always going to be the horrible news, but you know you can always have those thoughts. But
Yeah, sometimes it takes a lot longer for, things to turn around.
sometimes it does, yeah. Uh, and that's something that you're disappointed in. Maybe you don't need it. Who knows? You know,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
there's always
if
something
you
else to do.
if you can't have patience to wait for something, maybe it wasn't like meant for you in the first place.
Uh,
Like I guess like
or maybe it's like maybe you're too involved. It's like maybe you need to chill out. Uh, but but again, like there's there's passion. So yeah,
hmm.
let's see what they. This is my I think it's my final question.
Oh.
When does a company go too far towards fandoms? I think how to respond stuff was on my mind when I made this question. But like I think what I mean by that is sort of like the it's like when they give statements that are totally backwards, like toward fans. Like for example, take a great example, Star Wars or Doctor Who. It just happened. They're talking about like it's like especially with Doctor Who. It's like if you don't like what's coming up, go outside, change the channel, and touch grass.
Yeah.
It's like
No.
wow, and guess what? They did. You lost
Yeah.
so many viewers. Hasn't been this way in decades. Um, the same thing happened to Star Wars. It's like you have statements from the people creating it. I forget. Is it Nancy Hevlin? Maybe I forget what her name is. She was doing an interview for the Acolyte, and it's like her whole point was to make straight white men mad. Like,
Hmm.
oh,
Yeah, that's that's not good.
that's not good at all. It's like this is your PR. This is like what you're doing. That's how you respond to people because you don't think they're the right kind of fans. It's like wow, okay. and now it's like the audience scores and like the critic scores are so drastic that
Oh
like
yeah,
it's like especially on Rotten Tomatoes, but Rotten Tomatoes is a terrible site. Don't use it. But
yeah,
it does. But when it's so drastic like that, you have to take notice.
yeah, exactly. It like Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, it's a terrible site, but it's a good, I guess, base. Figure like just to figure out what people are thinking at the moment. But yeah, no. How I think yeah, like belittling your fans
Mm.
for I guess you could say for no reason is going too far. Like when you don't listen to what they're saying, but only
The
listening
minority gets
to
turned into the whole.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
When you
Mhm.
pull out a few instances of like the toxic people,
Yes.
and then you say like, oh yes, these are the people who are um I
Mm.
guess
Or
the majority of
these
what's happening
represent.
to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. These
Yeah.
this must be the fandom because
Mm-hmm.
like some people just leave a dislike or or
Yes.
just leave a negative review it's like you could have done better or something. It's like these it's like wow, they must think the same thing. Again, it's like they're they're sort of like my it's uh, first I'll go with my first thought real quick is that like imagine going like inside of a store. It's like yeah, or like a restaurant. I think a restaurant's perfect for this analogy because it's like hey so I got this fish and it's raw. Could you cook it? And it's like and then they just slap you across the face and tell you to leave. It's like go touch grass. It's like what? It's like and then they wonder why like we're not getting any business. Well, it's because like all the well well you see that table across the way with those two people on it and yeah they were really sexist. It's like what's that to do with me?
Yeah.
It's like it's not my it's like what it's like but it's kind of like that where it's that whole idea
Yeah.
uh and so like
It's
um so what breeds that sort of thing about how like when a company goes too far is that they put a lot of stock in their projects that they sort of project like themselves into and so therefore it's like if you criticize their work you're criticizing them when that's not what's going on. They're criticizing the finished product, not you as a person.
yeah, they a lot of um like of these people like put themselves inside yeah, which is basically what you say like inside their
With like
product.
self inserts too sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like when somebody says like, "Oh yeah, this character is dumb," that's basically like the
You're calling me dumb.
creators, yeah, the creators self insert. So it's like, "Oh, you call me dumb?" Yeah, exactly.
Or like the script writing is like horrible. Then it's like, oh no, I directed that. You're calling me dumb. It's like it's like not just self inserts, but like it's kind of funny. We're talking about I think we're all envisioning Star Wars, like Doctor Who or something. But like
Hmm.
even with like even with sports, it's like for example, like someone says like a comment, it's like oh the offense was terrible on the play, then the coach gets really mad. He's like
Yes.
how dare you? It's like I set that up,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like well yeah, it's like but they're allowed to criticize you even if they're wrong. It's like because everyone thinks their opinion is correct. Shocking, I know, but it's like you don't like the way they're sort of like inserting themselves into their work. And here's the thing, like it, there when you put your I said this before, like pre-recording, but when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into a like or are very passionate about your work, it's very hard to say that like that you are wrong about your work because you're very tied to your work, you're very passionate about it, or like you work so hard, and when someone and then like it flops, or like it doesn't do as well as you thought. Like you can be very delusional about your own work. It's a very like Ed Wood sort of thing where it's like even though you're being criticized, you still want to go through with it, or some
Hmm.
or something to that effect. Um, uh, I remember like in like Troll 2, he thinks his film is great, but like
Uh, like
yeah,
the cartoon movie?
no no no
Like
no no no
what?
Troll 2 is a old movie. Whenever I say
Oh,
Troll 2, I'm not thinking about trolls.
oh, I was thinking of
There's
Trolls
a
for some reason.
so Troll 2 is a legendary like bad film.
Okay.
That's you ever heard that line? They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me.
Oh, yes,
That's
yes.
Troll 2.
Okay,
Yeah, and
okay.
so like and it's really good, but the guy who created it is like, no, 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 it's a great film. Like because well, yeah, of course he does. He created the film.
Hmm.
Uh, and so like it's the same way it goes for like Birdemic. He really loves that film, and like he says it's a good film because like he copied Albert Hitchcock's way of doing things, but really, really awfully. Like and it's like, no, no, it's a good film. It's like, yeah, of course you think that you create it, but like this is where like you're so delusional that like you can't take the criticism, or you're just angry. Where it's like, I'd rather have the delusional person than the angry person, really, because the delusional person
Yeah,
you can still have a conversation about it.
yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
mm. But like, so like, how should they respond? Well, it's sort of like, oh yeah, it's right. Never mind. How did they go too far? Yeah, it's like, yeah, when you call your fans racist and phobes, instant phobes, really, that's when they go too far, or they're like, or you have the face of the company who was like, I remember back in the day when like, that, you've heard of that? There's a woman who worked for Guild Wars 2 who was very mean toward the fandom, and like, and some of them like give advice on like narrative dialogue inside of Guild Wars 2, and she went off on him. It's like, I don't like all these men telling me what to do with my job. And she
Hmm,
was, mm-hmm.
I think I heard about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I forget who she is. Olivia Price, I think her name was. And like, and she was fired. And she was the same person who said like, I have nothing bad. It's like you're not supposed to say something bad about people passing, but there's nothing kind I can say about Total Biscuit.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like
Mm.
Total Biscuit died, and she's like, I'm kind of glad. It's like, passive aggressiveness towards someone's death. It's like, it doesn't look good when you're the face of a company on Twitter. Like, like that's when you go too far. It's like these people, like, it's like, and they're glad she's gone. It's like the fandom is glad. Like, good. I'm glad she's gone. She was a terrible person to be the face of your company. And like that's what it means. Like, it is true. Like to think that like there are more activists in charge of stuff than there is actually genuine creators who want to change it little by little in order to, because there's not necessarily anything wrong about changing necessarily the core concept of the fandom uh, in order to like let people more in, to be a little more open, to
Hmm.
increase their profit margins, maybe, or maybe just to be like, we want to be a little bit more open to people, so we're gonna change it enough, not necessarily to break it, you know.
Yeah.
It's about like but to like change it so drastically all at once is a really bad move, like creatively and also financially. Um, and to change it based on like identity politics, or like sort of like or some other surface level idea is
Oh yeah,
is
like
terrible.
Yeah, changing something on identity politics, especially like if the world that it's set in like
Hmm.
doesn't like even if there was politics in it, it doesn't
Hmm.
make sense of why it would have it in it.
Hmm.
So
Like 40K, like
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
or like
exactly.
Star Wars, or like especially Star Trek.
Hmm.
Star Trek is the
Yes.
one I'm like, it already had these very progressive things about it. You don't have to
Hmm.
reach like that far, because like the whole idea is like the future is the want for nothing in the Star Trek universe. If you the concept of the want for nothing is that like they don't have the ideas of greediness or like selfishness anymore or hunger. It's pretty much a paradise on Earth. Like you could pretty much do whatever you want. You don't need to like. No one goes hungry. No one goes sick. There's no homeless problem because like, and so therefore they want for nothing. Uh, they still want to explore and like uh get new ideas, like to expand their knowledge, and that creates conflict between different peoples out there in space, not necessarily from their home planet. But when you have activism, you have to create the dragons from their worldview, because people write what they know,
Hmm.
and sort of like so they create these problems that like never happened before in Star Trek, like racism on Earth. I'm like, nah, that wouldn't happen. They don't care, like about that sort of stuff. Like like there are so many people rolling in their graves because of this stuff. They could create power for the Earth for the next 1,000 years. Like if they were put like a perpetual like energy, the power of the sun, in the palm of
Hmm.
my hand with these freaking people. It's like these creators are just like, what's going on with my IP? It's like like and like not only that, like this happens in sports too, where it's like we need to hire this amount of players because we need to fill a quota. That's like you're damaging the very thing, the core concept. The more and more you push, and the more and more you push, the more you're actually excluding people. Like that's the thing. It's like you want to be open with the fandom on stuff. Like you're actually doing the opposite because there's this vocal minority and the silent majority that you're just messing with.
Hmm.
And like in how you respond is very, very good, because here's the thing. Not here's this really what this comes down to, really. Like the Hawkins razor of it, if you will, is that not every fandom is for everyone.
Oh
And
yeah, of
to
course.
say it's for you is blatantly a lie. Like it's a lie you tell yourself. So like so yeah, I it's kind of funny. That was a short little thing, but I think it's pretty much that encompasses it right there. Really,
Hmm.
I think I think it's a pretty good thing to stop on. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll be working on like um a sort of something else. I'll continue to write and draw and stuff like that. It'd be great. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Too bad we didn't have more people in here
I
to
know.
get
Oh
like
no,
more.
I got messages from people now. Too late. I'm sorry.
Oh, the meme pros in general.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Too late.
just about too late. Yeah, I think people just didn't realize the time.
Uh,
Like, yeah, different time zones. It didn't.
he had internet problems, but
Oh,
like
okay.
we can go and invite him in. Sure, why not?
Yeah, we can find him in. Talk about it a little bit.
I'm sorry. I'm bad.
I thought you said 2 o'clock Pacific.
Uh,
Oh, Pacific time.
I,
Sorry.
oh no, it's fine. But you had internet problems, is what I hear.
Yeah.
So I've already talked about it all, really, and so it's like I'm sorry about that.
I'll definitely be on next time. I promise.
Oh, it's fine. I'm probably gonna get rid of the last part. Nah. I'll still keep this in. I wanna. It's kind of fun. This makes you look like a jerk. You know that? It's like, yeah, I know. I know.
I'm like that one dude who just pops in last minute. It's like, hey, oh, what did I miss?
So
hey,
everything. It's like, oh, I feel sad now. I didn't check my Discord messages. I was too into the conversation. So, actually, so what, just tell me the basics of what a fandom is, and then I can add you in.
Basic what a fandom is?
Yeah, sure.
A fandom is a group of individuals who are passionate about a certain intellectual property to an extent that they go to conventions, cosplay, fan art. You know, the usual nerd stuff.
Mm-hmm. Nerd stuff.
I went to a more basic sort of thing where it's like really anything could be a fandom, because like I included sports, novels, board games. It's like there are people obsessed with Monopoly boards. It's like we need to collect.
Oh yeah, there's just so many different variations of Monopoly. There's even like Monopoly with Lord of the Rings, Monopoly Harry Potter, Monopoly Star Wars, Monopoly Star Trek, even anti-Monopoly. There's actually a socialist board game now. Like
yeah, absolutely. Like so it is kind of funny how like I'm not gonna ask the questions again, but like the whole idea of like I'll ask you the basic question of like what do you think of like the idea of gatekeeping versus a fandom?
Well, I don't want to sound like that guy, but it's very it's very contextual and based on your intents. You know, if you're intending to preserve the canon, or the author's original intent, if the author isn't around anymore to enforce it, then it's a form of respect for the author's original intent. For example, the Lord of the Rings and what they're doing to the property, just raking his legacy over the coals of the Rings of Power. Right?
Yes, I agree. And I'll versus the movies, which bent the lore instead of just outright breaking it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he definitely respected Tolkien's vision when he invented that stuff. So it's like but he didn't adapt everything, or even adapt everything correctly. He did it to the film's vision first and foremost, but he didn't.
You have to make it more applicable for the big screen and the spectacle of it.
You have to adapt it because you can't just take because like it'll fall into.
I know, but the key is he preserved the original spirit of the books.
Yes, he did.
Yes, exactly.
Some people fall into the trap of the Carol sort of trapping, where it's like every word must be the same. It's like
It's
like, I bet half of you don't even know who Tom Bombadil even is.
I've heard of him. I just don't really know anything about him.
He's the positive aspect. That's the biggest theory, is that he's a positive aspect of the Song of Creation. He's
basically the Tolkien version of Jesus.
Okay.
A little bit, and then like not Sheila, but like who's the giant spider?
Shelob?
Shelob.
No. The shadow
spider.
Oh,
the bigger one. I have no idea.
It's the negative aspect of the Song of Creation.
Yep.
As theory would say, but like I don't know. But I've heard most of these sort of things. It's like there's some guy out there like, oh my gosh, you're such a casual. Yes, I am a casual fan of Lord of the Rings. I don't care. I'm still a fan. Like,
yeah, I would probably consider myself a casual fan of Lord of the Rings. I really like the movies. For great movies. Never read the books. Don't care about the TV show.
Yeah, I can't say I don't care about the TV show, because that means like you don't care about Lord of the Rings when it comes to that.
I don't think it that way.
Okay.
If someone says I don't care about Rings of Power, but I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, I'll be like, okay, yep, that makes 100% sense.
I know what they mean, but I mean, like, you care enough about Lord of the Rings. Shut up, nerd. Oh my gosh, how do you get to my stream? I'm not streaming.
But
wait, what?
What?
I don't. No, I'm not. Take on it. I don't know. Like, I got a comment, and I'm like, wait, how do you do that? I'm not streaming. I'm just recording.
I just it doesn't say you're streaming. It says waiting for Captain Falco. Wait, they're right here.
Oh yeah, which is funny. Anyways, it's like, shut up, bird. So, anyways, the whole thing of like, know you, the Night Watchman.
Yeah, that's kind of why channeling.
What I mean is, like, they're passionate enough about Lord of the Rings that they don't watch Rings of Power. It's like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, you do care, it's just very little about the show, but you care enough about Lord of the Rings that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I think those two, like Lord of the Rings and the Rings of Power, are like completely different enough.
Yes.
We can just divorce them entirely from each other. You know, you can think about Lord of the Rings without thinking about Rings of Power, which is something, you know, most people I think do. But like other things, like you can't really do that as much with other IPs like Star Wars. You can't really think of the OT without thinking of the sequel trilogy, because it's like, you know,
it has characters from that show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
it's supposed to be canon. So it's like, it is a part of that canon, even though it's bad. It's like, yeah, that's trouble.
But I think that's the difference between, like, you could say like hard canon and soft canon. Rings of Power is like soft canon to Lord of the Rings, and the sequel is hard canon to, you know, the OT.
Unless they reinvent it.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you like remake the first three, you know, the 4, 5, and 6.
The OT.
Take a look with that.
I can't wait to make it lame and gay. And oh my gosh! By the way, that's a joke. It's kind of funny that I have to say that. It's sort of like it's because like there's so many people that like say the woke argument or something. It's like no. I'm just saying as a joke. Really, it's like
I think it's good to say the woke argument for like last resort. You know, anybody who sprouts wokeness for every little thing, I don't really
define it.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to
like, I guess how would you guys define wokeness?
Well, yeah, where your wokeness is when your gender and your race is elevated above the content of your character.
Oh,
basically reverse racism.
No, there's no such thing as reverse racism. It's just racism.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just being semi-sarcastic.
Yeah. It's like, but like, my whole thing of like, I think that's also true. It's like, when identity politics or the activism of it is creatively used, above the content itself. Yeah. I agree. It's very it's very surface level analysis toward your writing, directing, or like or even to like a work in like anything really, like sports.
Novels. Yeah, people are kind of right to criticize how we've become so focused on wokeness that it's kind of overshadowed, you know, actually reviewing the aspects of the work and the actual, you know, plot holes and stuff like that.
Yes,
it's become like an easy way out for reviewers.
I think I kind of agree with both of you. Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you on that. I always think of wokeness as basically identity politics in a scenario where it doesn't belong. Like let's say Star Wars for some reason had racism in it. Like that wouldn't happen at all.
I think it would.
I guess for the bigger picture, like if you would like if
why is I'd be asking, why is racism the focus? It's like, why is that a thing I have to think about? That's like a thing because there's such a species in things.
Well, I was thinking like if it was like if like Lando for some reason came in and was like and said I don't know what he would say.
Like for example, Leia said walking carpet to Chewbacca. It's like, that's kind of racist. But it's like, but it's such that because it's calling him a walking carpet. Like, dude, like, it's just a species. He has hair. He can't help it. But here's the thing, though. She was angry at the time. So it makes sense. Like for goodness sakes, I'm taking action. Could you get out of my way? I'm taking control. Like she is frustrated. But it's a very common thing to do. It's like, it's not like Star Trek where like that wouldn't happen unless under certain circumstances. Like whereas like Star Wars, I can see someone being like racist towards someone like casually, like in a conversation, like naturally.
Well,
but,
I think
but if it was the focus of like like and not written well, I think it's like, it's just a surface level thing.
Well, I think if you like added it in as like a bigger issue of the universe,
yes,
I think
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Two birds with one stone.
Well, like if you like, let's say made a story with the focus of racism and like sexism and that type of stuff, would you guys still consider that wokeness, even if the story, because the story's made to surround those kinds of subjects,
It depends on how it's presented. Like you can, it's kind of like what is it, like the Giants or whatever, what was it called, like facing the not facing the Giants. Remember the Titans.
Yeah, remember the Titans.
That's all about racism. And like, but still I enjoy that story. It's not woke because like they put it during a time when it's like that's a very big issue, so it makes sense. But then again, there's some platitudes in there. It's like when they win a game, all the neighbors are like, yay, we're gonna clap for you inside of our houses. It's like, okay, like then there's stuff like I get to mention it because it was brought up. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but considered woke nowadays by a lot of people who just are lazy reviewers, because it has like a lesbian in it and it stars a woman, almost an all-female cast.
Yeah, but they have to understand that this show came out in the 90s. It was actually pretty daring back in the day.
It was
not so much nowadays.
It was written well too. That's the thing.
And it was was actually written well.
Yeah,
and respectfully.
Yeah,
not in a very not in a condescending, pandering, go girl kind of way.
They did have those moments, but it's very few and far between.
Yeah, they actually had this. The woman in that show actually had to struggle a lot. I mean, they actually went through a lot.
She has superpowers too. That's the thing.
And
she did get her butt kicked a lot. Like,
exactly, the women in that show were allowed to fail. Just like anyone else.
And that's
part of life.
In fact, most women in that show have toxic relationships because of what they deal with on a daily basis. It's like there's a lot of issues that come out of that, and they come out different people because of it. They change just because something is accomplished doesn't mean, or like an arc is done, doesn't mean they're done being human beings. They have to go through another struggle.
Yeah, life goes on.
Yeah, it's like this is what a lot of writers do. Holy crap! It's not about fandom anymore. It's about writing. But like, well,
there's an overlap.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's just fan fiction.
Yeah, so it's like when it's I forgot where I was going, but it's like the whole thing of like again, it's how you present these things. Sometimes there's a lot of allegories you could use, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit is also about racism. And it's like, it is? It's like, yeah, if you look at it through that lens, it makes a whole lot more sense. But it's how it's presented, and it sort of gives you a good picture of what you can do with a message like done right. Let's say, has anyone ever seen that movie? I'm getting silence.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie. So
okay, you should watch it. It's very good.
Okay.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is an excellent movie. It's the only time you'll ever see Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse on the same screen. So it's like So, anyways, I think we're going down. I think we're coming to the end because I've kind of exhausted this sort of thing. I think.
Yeah.
But like, wait, hold on. Let me. So it's like how? I guess one more question for you, Meme Crow, since you're the first, or like not Meme Crow, but like, I can't see your name. I'm sorry. What do you want to be called?
Just call me the Night Watching because that's
White Watchman. That's what it says over there. Okay, that's you. Okay, my bad. So like,
obviously,
yeah. So like, in fact, you can introduce yourself at the end. So it's like that's fine. But like, the one question of like, is like, how should like a sort of, how should companies deal with toxic fans? Like, you know,
how should companies deal with toxic fans?
Yeah. Like, you know, it's like
it's kind of what I've learned from how like Disney Pop has dealt with their own fans when it comes to Hazbin Hotel. It's just like the creators shouldn't, encourage them. Just like let them burn themselves out and not get involved in the drama yourself. You have to be above it all because
Not in a negative way, because like,
but not in a negative way.
Yeah.
But not in a pretentious, condescending kind of way, but more like
I'm above you, like a Jim Sterling sort of way. I'm above you, peasants. It's like, oh my god.
Or that better, but
yeah.
I meant like setting a better example of guys. We all want this show to succeed. Let's not get hung up on shipping wars here.
I think one of the things about like I think you said it earlier, like SonLee was the No Man's Sky guy. He shut up, and he spoke with actions instead of words.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's really good. When people work,
I'm not saying you have to completely ghost your fan base because it has its own consequences. Because
be
just
genuine.
look at cough, Team Cherry. But anyways, what I'm saying is you have to strike a good balance between, actually interacting with your fans and giving regular updates and, getting involved in every single controversy and drama that pops up and gives it artificial exposure and a boost it didn't need. That stuff should just like stayed on the fringes, so to speak. But creators who just have too much of a presence usually like to air all their dirty laundry, and it gets really messy really quick.
Because like it's like it feels like they're looking for sympathy at that point. Then it's or like, pity me.
Yeah,
it's like no. It's like I don't care how much stuff you're putting through. You made a bad product, and that's what we're talking about. Don't shift blame to. Don't be a victim.
Yeah, it's honest. I'm honestly thinking, were you honestly expecting people to just unanimously praise you and kiss your butt? That's not how in this industry works.
Blow smoke? Yeah, it's like nah, not happening. And here's the thing, like we talked about it earlier, but like just be genuine. Just be honest. People will like you more, even if it's bad news.
Yeah,
if you're just genuine.
Exactly.
Stephen King, believe it or not, Stephen King in the early years, he was asked like how did you write this? This is kind of terrible. He's like, yeah, I was just coked out of my mind. It's like yeah, like oh, you're doing drugs. It's like, yeah, and he got a lot more credit for that than like someone who was like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's because we get a lot. How do I say this? Authors like Tim Burton or Stephen King get a lot more credit than
Not Stephen King nowadays, but
yeah, not nowadays.
He's a very toxic man now, so it's like.
I mean, have you seen his face? He looks like Andros.
Andros' enemy is my enemy. So but yeah. So it's we kind of we just want to get the 2 cents of like the generalization of what we were talking about earlier. So it's like so yeah, I think we're winding down to the final part. So it's like we already introduced ourselves. So like, what about you, Mr. Watchman? What do you do?
Oh, hey, I'm the Night Watchman. Well, I had another channel, but that one got hacked by the jerks on Kiwi Farm. So now I got another YouTube channel with the same name. Just don't confuse the two. I think it's same situation with Just a Robot, but you can find my channel because I already have my name in the chat. Just click on that. You should find my channel for that.
We're not streaming, but like it's in the chat there. But like I'll make sure to leave links in the description after as I upload.
I'll definitely share a link to my channel, but
DM me. Yeah.
Right. But YouTube actually isn't my primary source. I kind of trying to migrate my content more into Odyssey because I'm too edgy for YouTube. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, but if you were too edgy for me, I would have booted you. So it's fine. Like
too edgy 3 me.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm half joking.
I know.
I'm half joking.
I know. You might have to fucking punch me out of this stream. Falco punch.
So yeah. So what kind of content do you do anyway?
What kind of content did I? Well, I'm kind of
current stuff.
My current stuff. I mostly do music, skits, a bit of memes here and there. As for long form content, I can get back to reviewing webcomics. I've been thinking about reviewing this one great comic I think would be up my alley. Ingrid the Plague Doctor. That'd be just so fitting. Like Plague Doctor reviews a comic strip about Plague Doctor, and just hilarity ensues about that. So I might have to write the script for that.
Stealing Fringy's stick. Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh, I did do a video response to Fringy that one time, and he was not happy. Last time I'd ever. Yeah, but
whatever.
DFAP isn't much of a thing anymore, anyways. So I don't know.
All right. Well, as for me, I do all the things, everything.
I know
all at once.
Yeah. But like
Oh yeah, I even watched that Let's Play of your rat dead, whatever. It's like, oh my god, what the hell is this?
Oh,
undead rat comes back to kill its owner, and then goes fight with the rat god.
It's really weird, but like I still like the idea of like it's the first platformer I can think of where it's rhythm based.
Yeah,
where I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. So though, anyways, I will say goodbye, and this is always the awkward part.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do.
Well, see you guys.
Mm-hmm.